We're back on Fight News Now, and it's time for 3 rounds with our Fight Network analysts John Ramdeen and Robin Black, as we are just days away from one of the most loaded UFCs of the year. It's Christmas for this man, and I think Hanukkah for this one.
Yeah, you look at UFC 178, it is so loaded. This is a fight fans fight card, especially when you look at the fact that the main event involves one of the most talented pound-for-pound best fighters in the world, and Demetrious Johnson. The guy is so skilled. Every time he steps foot in the cage, what is he going to do next? What wrinkles are we going to see in his game? What new ones? But Chris Cariaso, we know that he's talented. We know he's down. He says that he's going to shock the world and surprise everybody, but the guy lost to Formiga, and I lost to John Moraga, and I think that Demetrious Johnson is just on a different level in comparison to everybody else at 125 pounds.
Without question, he is. There's no doubt about it. And I love the UFC broadcasts. I think they do a great job of it. One area that I've often wondered is they feel the need to convince us that something's a close fight. I don't know why we feel that need. You get the opportunity to either see Demetrious Johnson put on a virtuoso performance against a guy who on paper is not on his level, or you get to see a guy who's a huge underdog do way more than you could expect. This is a fight you watch for those reasons. What can happen? Johnson goes out and blows your mind. Or Cariaso goes out and does the unthinkable, or you get a very close fight which you're not expecting. I mean, all of those are good things. Demetrious Johnson has skills in every single area. He may well be the best pure fighter in all of fighting on planet Earth. He's fast and he's skilled and he's well coached. He's fought against the highest level guys at the low weight classes. 25 minutes, he's done all of that. Cariaso has done none of it. So he has a huge assignment in front of him, but it is a must-watch fight.
Well, we got to switch to the co-main event. Eddie Alvarez making his UFC debut to take on Donald Cerrone, and we heard Nurmagomedov say that this fight's going to be won by Donald Cerrone because Eddie Alvarez is fun to watch, but the UFC is a different level. Fighting in Bellator, those small organizations, they're not the same as the UFC. People, you have to understand that is BS. People said the same thing about what Dana White called strike farce and the WEC. Who is the current UFC lightweight champion? The former WEC lightweight champion. And who's challenging for that title? The former Strikeforce lightweight champion.
And who's Alvarez fighting but one of the great fighters from the WEC? So that's all nonsense. What you got right here is 2 mind-blowing fighters. This is as great a matchup as you're ever going to get in your life, ever in all of fighting. I just did a breakdown looking at the SAP Alvarez scale. I placed Eddie Alvarez on the highest level of risk-taking behavior and his ability and willingness to tolerate extreme suffering, stress, damage, all of those things. He is that guy. Donald Cerrone has developed, he's a risk-taking guy in real life and his hobbies and such, but he's developed a very tight, very smart, very technical style that actually takes advantage of your risk-taking behavior and your errors. This is a scintillating matchup. It's going to be amazing. It might be 45 seconds. It might be 15 minutes. It's going to be incredible.
Do you expect Donald Cerrone to headhunt with his kicks to Eddie Alvarez, considering the fact that we know that Eddie Alvarez likes takedowns, get it into a position where he might force that takedown, because Eddie Alvarez is one of these guys. He's so athletic. He's got a lot of movement. It's hard to predict where he's going because he is so athletic. He can change directions very, very quickly. You start firing kicks at his head, he's going to be forced to take you down, and then Donald Cerrone can control this guy and try to play his game.
Yeah, it's so cool. The way you can picture all the variable ways that this can happen. But Donald Cerrone is kind of a loaded coil these days. He's kind of a snake ready to strike. So you've got this animal darting around trying to get it, and you're loaded with that kick and that big punch and that knee up the middle. He has a smaller menu of weapons, but they're all badass, and they're all sort of, prepared for this fast-moving target. Also, you got the fast-moving target trying to draw things out and hit it.
We all anticipate that Donald Cerrone and Eddie Alvarez will probably deliver fight of the night. I expect the gentleman at 145 pounds, Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier, to say there's no way that's going to happen. We are going to ensure that when people leave Las Vegas, they know that we are 2 of the most exciting fighters, not only in the division, but in all of mixed martial arts. They're coming to put on a show. Conor McGregor is coming to prove that he is going to be the #1 challenger challenger for the 145-pound title.
Yeah, and Dustin Poirier is trying to knock his teeth out of his head for daring to do that with him. And Conor McGregor, let's ignore the fact that he speaks well and is charming and is compelling. Let's ignore all of that. Just as a fighter, he's outstanding and he's very talented. But all of those tools, all of the verbiage, all of the stuff he says, and the way that he tries to clown on you early in the fight is all there designed to make you get aggressive on him. If he can create aggressiveness in you, he can counter it, which is his very strength. Poirier is exactly the guy to take that bait, and as a result, you got yourself a firefight. Poirier, he hits incredibly hard, but he can be drawn into that. He admitted it to me after his last fight, and it's gonna be a dynamic, crazy fight. Great night of fights.
John, the action doesn't stop there. Dominic Cruz, Patrick Cote taking on Stephen Thompson, Tim Kennedy on the card, Yoel Romero. Really one of the best cards I think the UFC has put on in the last number of years.
Kevin Lee and John Tuck.
First fight of the night.
Get ready, everyone. Thank you very much, and John and Robin will be back next Monday with 5 rounds at 7 Eastern with a full rundown and review of UFC 178. We are going to take a short timeout, and when we return, Robin is back. He's going to Fan Expo in Toronto, searching for cosplayers, and we'll have another viral video as we continue on Fight News Now.